Hello everyone. Hey, I'm taking a walk and I thought I'd do a Mara Speaks post because it's been a while since I actually talked on Mara Speaks. I've been on my actual face page with my name talking about health and wellness and trying to fill that area out. But because I said, you know what, there's a topic I want to discuss, let me get on and talk on Mara Speaks. So I wanted to talk about, really not going to take and rob your time long, but about my page, Mara Speaks, and that it was born out of me learning that my spirit was bitter, and I felt really, some type of way about having a bitter spirit. And I didn't want to, go through life with that type of mindset or have God literally tell me in a dream that I was considered bitter in the way that I was handling things in my life and how I was holding on to so much of these things. And it's so funny because it can consume so much of your time in life. Like the times that you could have truly found joy or truly been happy, you find that you can't get over stuff, and so you find yourself in a situation where you find yourself get bitter. So we all know about that, because if you know anything about my page, you know that it was born out of bitterness. But I haven't been feeling that way for quite a while. I'm actually getting over a lot of stuff. I'm allowing my spirit to be freed. I'm allowing my mind to be at rest with things that I had no control over. I'm allowing my body to take course of whatever it's supposed to do, or as I get older, like with the gray hair, and just allowing me to just love on me. As I've been always stating, I was in a process when I was talking about it of trying to receive it for myself. But now I'm actually finding that I believe what I've been saying, and that's the difference. Like people say, speak things as though they are, basically having faith and that they will be. And so now I find that I am in that moment where I'm finding peace in my spirit, finding joy in my heart a little bit more than I was, not feeling so bitter about my past. I think what started this whole Mara Speaks was when I got put in jail, and how that just totally affected me, because obviously no one ever expects to have to go to jail in life, right? I mean, I didn't live that type of life, so I didn't expect that. You never expect that the person who was supposed to protect you and love you will be the one to truly try to harm you, or try to hurt your character. Or just, and I guess I know the situation, but you don't expect those things in life. So it had been really hard for me to get over, truly get over the whole ex relationship and how it ended. And then it also just stirred up a lot of things in my spirit, like stirred up a lot of things throughout the years from when I was a kid, and thinking like, oh, and then this happened to me, and then that happened to me. And I'm like, I went through this point where I just got truly bitter. And I said, I'm just too done. I'm too through. And, maybe God doesn't want me to find peace, or maybe God doesn't want me to find joy. But that's not how our God works, right? And I know that it's not like we don't know these things in life, but you know what? We allow the enemy to lie to us. We allow him to seep into our spirit. And then, even though we know he's a liar, we continually allow him to speak through us and we find ourselves in a situation where we become bitter. So, with that being said, so far, so good. I don't think about those things as much anymore. I mean, if I do, it's in a different light. It's in a different, really quick, just to say, all right, so I went to jail. I've discussed that in the past, but I never discussed how he placed me there to be a blessing for others. That I never saw it as much like that as I have been seeing pretty much in the recent months. That had I not gone to jail this day, who knows what my prayers, how far my prayers would have been taken. So when I went to jail that morning, or was it that afternoon actually, about 4 p.m. And when I went to jail, okay, I should state, I had to go to the county for 24 hours and then they sent me over to the jail for 24 hours. So with that being said, when I went to the county, I found myself with this woman who was a woman cop, which is really hard to get along with women cops because they just have this air, but she didn't have this air. They picked me up from my county and took me over to the county, and she had church music on, and it just felt like a peaceful ride. And I'm going over to the county jail, right? But I felt peaceful in it. So I sat there and I'm listening to her with this music, and I'm listening to the station she was listening to, and we started talking about other stuff on my way there. And then I kind of, I think she asked, what's causing me to be there, and I kind of explained. She says, oh, you don't understand, so many women and men have gone through and been totally not belonging there. She says, you'll be out of there in no time, believe me. And she was right. But she says, wow, it's so funny how this is happening. And that's how I found out a lot about the Chris Christie rule that had just taken place that year. But she made me feel pretty, like this is going to be okay. Even though it was a long, hard, maybe about 6 months of it, because I had to keep going back and forth to court. The thing is, and even that was a whole nother situation, so I should even mention that. But she sat here and she walked me into the county, and as she walked me into the county, she explained to the people while I was in there, oh, she don't belong here, y'all. She don't belong here. They said, yeah, they're gonna process her in and out, and they said, you're gonna have to do 24 hours. You'll be out. Don't worry about it. And they were so kind to me. I did have to go through a degrading situation, which I don't really want to discuss. But even the woman who was making me have to go through that process saw it in my face and was like, all right, that's enough. You okay? And then she just let me go into the room. I went to the room to the nurses. I guess they had to do some tests to make sure I was okay before I go into staying with other people in the area. And it's like I was kind of coddled. My friend, I have a girlfriend who mother had died, and she said that summer happened to actually be one of her best summers. She says that she would never think that summer after her mom had just passed, that would be a good summer for her. But she said that she actually felt really good that summer. And I always say that the Lord held her on a cloud and just floated her on a cloud. But in my process and in my situation, I felt the same way, that the Lord literally carried me through that process. And I remember being in the room that they're about to take you to another room that you're going to spend the night in. It's like a holding cell when you're at the county. And another girl came in and she kept tearing and crying. I had just cleaned the toilet that we have to use padded it up because I ain't know the process, but I know I ain't sitting on nobody's toilet. So here it is. She came in and I told her, I said, well, if you have to go to the bathroom, I just clean that area. I mean, I don't know. I'm going to be decent and human no matter what the situation, right? And she, was okay with that. But she just kept talking about her daughter and she can't believe she's here. And this was like her second time fighting this guy because he didn't give her a child support. And I kind of get that because when I was young, I used to get a little crazy with my children's father. But yeah. It was just so crazy. But yeah, she was telling me all this and I, saw her distress, and she's about the age of my daughter at the time. So I started to ask her, did she want me to pray with her that we find our way out of this situation? And we did. We prayed like about 3 times. Literally, we prayed about 3 times. And during my course of the 24 hours that I had got to know her, because the next day we had to go to court. And when we went to court, when we had to go to the cafeteria area or whatever area that is, that's a general area. I call it cafeteria because it had tables in it. And we prayed again then. And then we went into another holding cell to see the person at the courthouse, right? I'm walking, I gotta cross the street to see the person at the courthouse. And to see the court people, okay? We're not talking about the person at the courthouse. To actually do it by video because we were at the county and they don't take you over, they make you do it by video. So here it is, we were waiting our turn. And other women happened to be in a holding cell with me at this time. So we all talking about our experience. Well, I wasn't really talking about my experience. I'm not really that person, but like, yeah, this happened to me and that happened to me. I just was listening to them, and I, was smiling and I was really kind of trying to pull away. Because, not to be funny, but sometimes you just don't know what you're finding yourself into. And I never been here, and I just wanted to get to praying, but it seemed like I never had an alone time to pray. I just didn't have alone time. Like, these women were talking to me and telling me their issues, and I'm like, well, I ain't really here for this, people. I'm trying to figure out my own issues here. This is how I was thinking, and I actually wound up having to say it because they kept asking me why, what do I think is going to happen, because another woman, it was her first time being there as well. And I'm like, oh, well, I don't know. I said, this is my first time here as well, as you know. And, we'll know what's going to happen once we go see the people at the court. I said, I've never experienced this before. I said, and they kept saying, but Melissa, what do you think is going to happen? How do you think? I said, well, ladies, I can't help you. What I can do is I can pray. So if you like, I can pray with you, ladies, and we can, try to seek guidance from God. And they were very much on board. We got up in a circle, we held hands. It was at that time 4 of us, and they had took a Caucasian woman who was actually coming off of a high, so she was going through her fever and shakes, and they had took her into the court. And during the time that we were in prayer mode, they sent her back into the room, and I grabbed for her hand and she got into the prayer circle. And so that was like my 3rd prayer at the church, and basically, just asking God that whatever led us here, God, help us to find who we are in this situation, what we can learn from this, and to always give you the glory and the honor in how we come through this. So basically, I got not a mosquito, a web went in my face. But yeah, so we went through that process, and always, and then it was like I was in at the court, and then before I know it, I went back to the cell, and they opened the door, and they said, Melissa, well, they had to come and get me because I didn't know why they opened the cell. I wasn't going out there. And then they said, it's time for you to leave. And I'm like, oh, that was quick. Really, it was literally 24 hours. I got literally out the door at 4 p.m. So 48 hours from the time I went to the jail in my area to the jail in the county, a total of 48 hours. And I'm like, wow, that was pretty quick. I was in, I was out, I prayed with the women, and maybe the Lord had me be in place because these women had not heard or prayed or anything maybe for a good long time. A lot of them was giving me a lot of war stories, and he did this and she said that and I did this and what, a lot. And I'm not that person. It's like I like to go to God in prayer and to you people on Mara Speaks and talk about it, because I want to see if maybe it helps someone else and how I go through this journey of my life. So, my thing is, my spirit is free from being bitter. My spirit is no longer where it was. Like I was going through, and every time I thought I was getting over it, I found myself in tears and anger, and not so much at the guy. More at why did God allow it? Why did God allow this to happen to me? Why did he do this? Why? And the thing is, it's not about why, it's what do I do? What do you do with your situation? And so I come on here because what I want to do with my situation is encourage others that no matter what you're going through, okay? No matter what you're going through, no matter how long or how short the process, and especially during this time of quarantining, and everybody's having to social distance now, and life is seemed like it's about to open up, but nothing got together, and people lost people, and people are divorcing for it because they spent way too much time together. And it's just so many. And then we have the Black Lives Matter movement and the we know all those acronyms. LGBTQT, I think it is. Okay. Anyway, we have all these movements going on basically at one time. The DACA, just things, everybody's getting things going. And some of them are good, but the process of getting to the good is getting through the bad, right? So, people's prayers are being heard because of the fact that things are making change. Change is happening. It's happening. People are going to have to go through the healing process of all those that we lost this year, whether it be just from the, COVID or other reasons. Like people in my family that passed in 2020, it wasn't even from COVID. It's crazy. It's like this was the year that a lot of God's people needed to go home. And if this is the way, I guess he decided, it was going to be made in purpose, because that's how I believe my God works, is that things are done in a purpose. It's not done to hurt us. That this is a year that people had to go home for whatever reason. I know that George Floyd went in purpose, right? Because it got a movement going. And so if I went to jail and I found myself praying with women, then I was doing God's purpose. And that the day that he felt he needed to call the police and say the things that he said to get that woman convinced that I was this monster lady, because the way she came in, she was like, take her straight to jail. And the other cops was like, what? Where did this come from? Like, we're talking to her. What are you talking about? But they couldn't do anything because I was their supervisor. The purpose in that situation was for me to probably just pray with the women who probably had not heard or been given God any type of accolations. I think I said the right word. They have not been worshiping their God. They had not even been given their God a thought. And they thought that I was going to be able to make things happen for them, and I'm in their situation. So I knew that, Lord, my prayer when I got to jail, when I got to the first jail, to the holding jail room, my prayer at that point was, God, if you sent me here, then let it carry out your purpose. And maybe that's what it was. Maybe I carried out God's purpose. Well, I hope so. I pray so. But yeah, so I'm not feeling bitter. I mean, I feel like, when I ask God to keep me and to allow me to do his will, because I love him so much, and he's been taking care of me and my family, and I know he's good. All I want to do is serve him, all I want to do is serve him. What a mighty God we serve, for real. So yeah, so I'm taking this walk, getting my body back on track. I lost some weight, I won't say I gained any pounds. I really didn't gain any pounds. What I did, either I have water weight or I haven't been working out, even though I've been still keeping a calorie count. And so I found a little bit of stuff coming around the side of my stomach again, where I gain all my weight is around my stomach. So I'm out healing my body, healing my mind, and definitely working on my spirit, because I believe that God has purpose in my life, and that I go through nothing that he does not allow. Okay? So hopefully in the situations that you find yourself in now, in the future, or have in the past, if it's holding you, if it's keeping your spirit down and keeping you worried and keeping you thinking, let go. Let go, let God, and believe that he is on our side, and we're going to get through this. Okay? You're going to find that your latter days is your better days, and that's what I'm looking towards. My latter days becoming my better days, and they are. So love you all, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.